like to call the Harrisburg Commission meeting to order at approximately 6:35. Commissioners, you received your April 5th, 2023 meeting minutes. Are there any changes, additions, deletions? If not, I'd like to get a motion for approval. There a second?
Second.
Then moved in second for approval of the minutes as they are. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Under old business, there is none. Under new business, we have a special exception application for 1855 Regina Street, which is zone RM, filed by Curry Randolph with London Management, LLC, and it's to establish a 3-unit multifamily dwelling, which requires a special exception for section 7-305-1 of the zoning code.
Yes, so the applicant is proposing to establish a 3-unit multifamily dwelling, which requires a special exception approval per section 7-305.7 of the zoning code. Property 1855 Regina Street is a 0.22 acre lot featuring a 2 1/2 story, 3,330 square foot structure, which was constructed in 1923. Property is bounded by Regina Street to the north, North 19th Street to the east, Helen Street to the south, and the property at 1851 Regina Street to the west. Attached structure features elements of the vernacular and craftsman architectural styles. Character defining features include brick facade, the stone water table, the expansive wraparound porch along the front and side elevations, clad in stone veneer and featuring large fluted posts, a rear building addition, also clad in stone veneer, the 2-story porch along the rear elevation, the steep gabled roofs and dormers featuring decorative fascia and brackets, the large decorative chimney, and the detached brick garage with wooden swing out doors. The main entrance features a wooden door with a full view pane flanked by side lights, with all elements topped by transoms and set within a substantial paneled surround. It's accessed by a short metal ADA ramp on a large concrete porch, which has a set of concrete steps on the front elevation and a metal ADA ramp on the side elevation. There are additional entrances on the 1st and 2nd floor porches on the rear of the building. Fenestration also includes windows in a variety of sizes and pane configurations. All windows on the 1st and 2nd floors appear to be 1/1 wooden windows, while windows in the 3rd floor dormers appear to be 12/1 wooden windows. Structure is topped with steep gable roofs and dormers clad in asphalt shingles and featuring ice stops. The side and rear yards of the property are enclosed by a 4-foot high chain link fence. The unmaintained yard features high grass and weeds and accumulation of litter. As a large detached structure in a community of primarily duplexes and row homes, the building differs markedly from the character of the surrounding neighborhood. However, establishes the property as an architectural outlier, and given that it appears to retain much of its original integrity, structure makes a unique contribution to the architectural and historic character of the streetscape and neighborhood. The Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be approved with the following conditions. The applicant must submit a legible and detailed site plan outlining the provision of parking on site prior to the zoning hearing board meeting. The proposed parking is not in conformance with the applicable zoning regulations. They will have to file additional zoning relief applications. Planning Bureau recommends the applicant consider demolishing the existing garage on site and expanding its footprint to create a 4-space surface parking lot accessed directly from Helen Street. The applicant will reconstruct the sidewalks adjacent to the property to ensure they're ADA compliant and will receive approval from the city engineer's office confirming the appropriateness of the work. The applicant shall allow the Codes Bureau to perform a comprehensive inspection and receive approval for all necessary city permits prior to receiving a certificate of occupancy and leasing any units. And finally, the applicant will coordinate with the Department of Public Works to confirm the appropriate size and location of refuse collection on site and update the billing accounts to reflect the new use. Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be approved for the following reasons. The history and configuration of the property indicates it has previously functioned as a 3-unit multifamily dwelling, providing justification for approval of the current proposal. The proposal would not be out of character with the surrounding neighborhood, as other single-family row home and duplex structures have been converted to 2- and 3-unit multifamily dwellings. The proposal will have minimal impact on the surrounding on-street parking, as the property is able to provide sufficient off-street parking on site and as a corner lot, establishing on-street frontage that can accommodate approximately 7 vehicles parked on the street. And finally, the subject property is in a blighted condition. Proposed project would represent investment that will bring the structure up to code and ensure it is actively occupied.
Thank you, staff. Could you state your name, address, and your relationship to the project?
Sure.
Kyrie Randolph, 1855 Regina Street, and I am the owner.
You heard the staff report with the conditions. Are you acceptable of those conditions?
Yes, sir. I would like a copy of the condition.
Staff will get that to you. Did you want to add anything to the report?
As far as the I guess the site plan, I want like a more descriptive like idea of how I should get that done or drawn up.
And I can work with him to provide him a sample from past projects.
Okay. Yeah, talk with the staff later.
Yes, sir.
With that, commissioners, I have no questions at this time. So I'll go to you, the commissioners, Commissioner O'Toole.
That looks pretty straightforward. I think 3 units is good. It's going to be a significant improvement of a blighted property, so I'm definitely in favor.
Thanks. Commissioner Reed,
No, I have no questions.
Commissioner Green,
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Merrick,
Nope, no questions. I echo Commissioner O'Toole's comments.
Commissioner Jordan.
Yes, the only question I had was more for my fellow commissioners. Did we want to take any consideration about the mentioned community support since it was mentioned in the application? So essentially, I'm asking, do we want to make that part of the conditional approval?
Well, that would be up to, I think, commissioners. Are you referencing community support that the applicant referenced, or are you saying you would like to see some?
I'm essentially asking my fellow commissioners if we wanted to include having one of the conditions of approval be some sort of documentation of the community support, since it was mentioned by the applicant in the application that they had talked to neighbors and had support for the project.
I guess we could do it routinely. I normally ask the public in general if they're for or against it, and also ask the applicant if he had talked to the neighbors. I don't know if that would be a condition, or if that's generally what he's done, we can just have that as a statement. We'll
Okay.
see.
Okay, that's fine.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
bringing that up. With that, I'll go to the public and ask if anyone is for or against this project. And if you are, could you stand and state your address? And I'll start to my left. Center. To the center. Could you get to the mic, because I'll pull it up because it's been recorded.
He's taken on something. I stepped in to try to help him out a little bit here. And absolutely, I feel that this would be a benefit to that neighborhood, big benefit to the neighborhood, especially with the disability. There was a very, very huge shortage of disability housing. And this is basically already set up. The ramps are there. There's already ADA parking there. This is like perfect for that situation. That's my opinion.
Thank you. Anyone to my right? Okay. With that,
Excuse me, Joe. No, I do have a question. Since you mentioned there was the ADA ramps, will any of the units be ADA accessible?
Yeah, I'm considering making the first one.
Yes.
any other concerns or questions by the commissioners? If not, again, with the, I guess you had a petition for the neighborhood. Is that what you're talking about? Did he have a petition?
Yes, I don't know if it was a formal petition, but the applicant stated that they had neighborhood support from talking to people in the community.
So you basically, you did talk to your neighbors and,
But yeah, when I was doing like construction and demolition, they would like ask me what I was doing with the property and inquiring about possibly written units when it was completed. And then when I sent out the letter, I received a call from like neighbors just basically saying they're okay with what's going on and what I'm trying to do.
okay. We'll just put it in the minutes that he did talk to the neighborhood. It sounds like they were favorable of his project. With that, commissioners, could I get a motion?
Motion to approve with conditions.
There a second?
Second.
Been moved and second for approval with the conditions. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Very good project.
Thank you, Mr. Knight.
The next item on the agenda is a variance and special exception application for 1104 North Second Street. It's filed by Stephen Toole to convert the existing single-family dwelling to a two-unit multifamily dwelling, which requires special exceptions for relief from the permitted uses and off-street parking requirements and variances for relief from the density regulations and specific criteria of the zoning code.
Yeah, so the applicant is proposing to convert the existing single-family dwelling into a two-unit multifamily dwelling, requiring special exceptions for relief from the permitted uses and the off-street parking requirements and variances for relief from the density regulations and specific criteria of the zoning code. Property at 1104 North Second Street is a 0.03 acre lot with a 2,466 square foot brick structure, which was constructed circa 1891. Property is bounded by the property at 1106 North Second Street to the north, North Second Street to the east, property at 1102 North Second Street to the south, and a narrow Grocer's Alley to the west. This three-story attached brick masonry structure features elements of the Italianate architectural style. Character defining features include the brick facade, the metal grates over the basement windows, the brownstone water table and stoop, the prominent entryway, decorative window headers, the large oriel window on the front elevation above a second floor cornice, the faux stone veneer on the rear addition, and the prominent cornice featuring brackets, dentils, and decorative details. The rear of the building features more modern additions, including the faux veneer and the two-story porch with metal railings and a metal sunshade awning above the second floor porch. Main entrance features a wooden paneled door topped by a divided light stained glass transom and fluted pediment, and set within a curved wooden surround featuring fluted columns. It is accessed by a brownstone stoop with a metal railing. The rear entrance features a paneled wooden door topped with a simple transom. Fenestration also includes 8 1/1 windows on the front facade. The first floor windows are paired, and there are 4 in the second floor oriel window featuring panels, fluted columns, and a substantial pediment with brackets. The first and third floor windows are set in wooden frames and topped with decorative wooden headers. Structure is topped with rubber roofing. As an attached building, the structure shares architectural elements with many of its neighboring properties, although it also features its own unique elements. The structure retains the majority of the original architectural elements and styles, and most are in good condition. Thus, the property contributes significantly to the historic and architectural character of the streetscape and district. Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be approved for the following reasons. The variance being requested from the specific criteria represents the minimum necessary to afford relief, given the interior square footage of the building at 2,466 square feet. Only a minor deviation from the zoning code is being requested. Overall, the proposed deviation from the zoning code, the addition of a single unit beyond what would be permitted by right, represents the minimum relief from the zoning regulations. The proposal would not be out of character with the surrounding neighborhood, as several of the other single-family structures on the block have been converted to multi-family, multi-unit dwellings. And finally, the applicant has made significant investments into the property based on documentation provided by the city. Though this information was provided in error and has complied with the requirements to submit the requisite zoning relief applications, showing that the property receives the requisite reviews and approvals for conversion.
Okay, thank you, staff. Could you state your name, your address, and your relationship to the project?
Hi, I'm Stephen Toole. I live at 5005 Pellingham Circle in Enola, Pennsylvania, and I am the owner of the property.
You heard the staff report. Are you acceptable of the conditions?
Yes, I am.
There were no conditions, just to be clear.
Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I guess I thought your approval was the condition. Did you want to add anything to the? report?
No, thank you.
Jeff, did I read anything about parking?
The applicant does not have off-street parking as a middle of a row home block. There's no real access to the property in which to be able to provide any parking, much less the space to be able to do so, because the building takes a lot. So the addition of an extra unit would require relief from one extra parking space beyond what a single family by right use would allow.
So one space.
Yeah.
right? Okay, that's my concern right now. We'll come back to that. Commissioners, any concerns or questions? Commissioner O'Toole.
No concerns, no questions. It's pretty, again, straightforward, just like the last one.
Hey, Commissioner Reed,
No, no questions.
Commissioner Green,
No, I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Marge,
No, I don't have any questions. I think actually reviewing this proposal, I appreciate the use of decreasing the it looks like it was had the configuration of the original apartments looks little chopped up. Yeah, and I will just say that the proposed configuration of the new apartments definitely does seem to be like a space. So
Thank you.
yeah, nobody wants to go through someone's bedroom to get to the kitchen. So anyways, I do appreciate the efforts you're putting into this property to improve it. So thank you.
Commissioner Jordan.
Yes, just one question. So it appears from your drawings, the unit that's on the second and third floors is going from 4-bedroom, 1-bath to 2-bedroom, 2.5-bath. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public for or against this project? Let's start to my left. Middle, to my right. If not, yes, I think this sounds like a good project, and that the commissioner said it's going to be improvement, I'm sure. Look pretty nice up there. So with that, can I get a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
And since there's no conditions, that's what I was going to say. All those in favor say by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Item number 3, this is a lot consolidation of land development plan for JMP Gardens. This is located on 28 parcels on 4 proposed sites along the 2200 and 2300 blocks of North 6th Street. It's zone CN and RM, followed by Sean McCoy with JMB Gardens LLC, and it's developed vacant lots as 41 dwelling units, the community center and an associated site and assessed improvements.
Yes, so the applicant is proposing to consolidate 28 vacant parcels into 4 separate lots and developing the project sites into 41 total dwelling units, a community center and associated site and access improvements. And the planning commission will recognize this project from earlier this year, I believe in February, when it was when the zoning relief request associated with the project was initially heard by the planning commission and subsequently approved by the zoning hearing board. The project site features 4 separate locations along the 2200 and 2300 blocks of North 6th Street, comprised of 28 separate parcels totaling approximately 0.98 acres. The locations are primarily vacant lots with mature trees and vegetation scattered around the periphery of the sites. The site at the southwestern corner of North 6th Street and Emerald Street, lot number 3, is enclosed by a 4-foot-high white vinyl fence. Project site is generally bounded by Curtin Street to the north, Elizabeth Alley to the east, Camp Street to the south, and Turner Alley to the west. The Planning Bureau staff recommends the request be approved with the following conditions. The applicant is required to receive a certificate of qualification pursuant to chapter 12-101 of title 12 Affordable Housing Certification prior to recording the lot consolidation and land development plan with the Dauphin County Recorder of Deeds. The applicants will coordinate with the Department of Public Works to confirm the appropriate size and location of refuse collection on site and update the building accounts to reflect the new use. Any signage related to either the industrial or community center components will be in conformance with the applicable regulations of the zoning code, or if not, will receive approval for a zoning relief request as necessary from the zoning hearing board. And finally, the planning bureau recommends that any bicycle parking areas located on project sites, especially for building 1 near the community center, be sheltered by awnings. Planning bureau staff recommends the request be approved for the following reasons. Proposed development will develop vacant lots that have attracted illegal parking and illegal dumping and which have had a blighting influence on the corridor into a row home apartment development that is compatible with the medium density nature of the surrounding neighborhood. The massing and siting of the proposed development will generally reflect the character of the surrounding neighborhood and represent good infill development on critical vacant blocks on the 6th Street corridor. The proposed project will provide 41 new affordable housing units, which will be certified and maintained long-term as affordable units. The proposed project will also contribute to an overall goal of the city to provide much needed affordable housing to residents. Finally, the proposal will add new residents to the neighborhood and activate the street and surrounding community on nights and weekends and contribute to a growing customer base to support local businesses.
Thank you, staff. Could you state your names, your address, and your relationship to the project?
Sure. Ryan Sanders, 327 Kelker Street. I'm a part of the management division of Vice Capital.
Matt Witters with Eustis Engineering. It's 161 South 32nd Street, Camp Hill, and we are the civil engineer.
Okay, you gentlemen heard the staff report with the conditions. Are you acceptable of those conditions?
Yes, we are.
Did you want to add anything to the report?
I can give an update on where we are with plans, some minor changes to what we had discussed at the last planning commission meeting. If you,
Okay.
3 minutes spiel. A lot of what you'll see is the same as what we presented before. This just shows the general area of our development. We're generally at the corner of 6th and Emerald Street. Emerald's up and down, left and right is 6th Street on this particular plan. We've got 28 vacant lots right now that we're going to subdivide or consolidate, into 4 individual lots. Track 1 is on the north side of Emerald Street, facing 6th Street. Track 2 is directly across the street on what would be the west side of 6th and fronts on Emerald. Track 3 is across Emerald from track 2. It's on the south side of Emerald. And then track 4 is a little bit further down, sort of like an infill lot in the mid block area of 6th between Emerald and Camp Street. Curtin Street's all the way to the north end. So on lot 1, we have the same configuration that we presented back in January with 19 new units, multifamily units on track 1 with 21 parking spaces, 3 of which will be ADA in the back. We have a community center at the south end near the intersection of 6th and Emerald that we discussed before. That's the first floor. It's about 1,500 square feet. I'll have some general community space, leasing office, another management office, restrooms, a small kitchen, and then a little flex space that we're calling a computer lab right now. That'll be available to anyone, not just this particular development. We are proposing the required number of landscape trees to replace what was being taken down or has to be taken down on the back of the property. We're also proposing all the perimeter landscaping to properly screen and shield the parking lot in the back. Lot 2. 3 individual parcels right now. We're going to subdivide it or consolidate into 1 with 8 new multifamily units. That'll be a 2 to 3 story building, same as lot 1. A mix of 1 to 2 3-bedroom dwelling units on lot 2 as well. That'll front on Emerald Street. One of the requests from the planning bureau was to slide the buildings up as close to the right of way as we could on both lot 1, lot 2, lot 3, and lot 4, which we've done. We moved everything up to 6th Street on lot 1. We moved everything up to 6th Street on lot 2 and up to Emerald Street to help with frontage, to help keep that character, things of that nature. There is no new parking proposed on lot 2. We're going to utilize the street parking that's there on Emerald Street. Lot 3 consists of 8 existing lots. We're going to again consolidate into one. Proposed 10 units, mix of 2 and 3 bedroom units on lot 3, with 2 to 3 stories, depending on where you are. We'll have 2 parking spaces, 2 ADA parking spaces out back off of Turner Alley. Again, with that perimeter landscaping that we're required to provide. Again, lot 3, we slid that building up to Emerald Street and up to 6th Street just to continue the character. Lot 4, we slid that building up again to 6th Street. That'll be a 4-unit, consolidate 2 existing lots into one and provide 4 units on that particular lot. And then we'll do 4 off-street parking spaces out back. We have obviously submitted to the city. We're into the CRW. We're also into Dauphin County Conservation District for stormwater management and the post-construction stormwater management requirements. We have 4 brand new subsurface stormwater facilities. Lot 1 is going to be underneath the parking lot. We'll have lot 2, we'll have one underneath the yard area here. Lot 3, we've got one that runs up behind the building and underneath the parking and the yard. And then we have on lot 4, a smaller one underneath the parking area. Everything's discharged into the existing sewers like it does now. I should mention there is a bus stop in front of lot 1 and lot 2 here and here. So that'll help with our public transportation aspect. Again, we do have funding from PHFA. We've been approved for the 9% LIHTC program. Feel this is a valuable resource, going to be a great development for the community. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to ask this.
Curb cut was it originally to do with? Can you explain that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the changes that we made besides sliding the units up to the facility or up to the right of way on lot 3. Back here, there was some concern from Planning Bureau, and rightfully so, with pedestrian and vehicular conflict along 6th Street, trying to keep that as safe as possible. So we eliminated a new driveway, reduced that parking down to 2 spaces, which actually opened up a lot of green space in the backyard for some community use and resident use there as well. So I don't know if there's any questions that I can answer.
Just again, with the parking, with the reduced parking spaces, do they still meet the requirements?
Yes, because almost all of the properties are located in the commercial neighborhood zoning district. Currently, there's a small bit of lot of block 3 that was in the RM district. So they have a lot more parking than they require, and because they are going to be affordable units and they have reduced parking requirements, they actually have the parking that the project would otherwise require for the residential component of the project.
Yeah, I did forget about the affordable. The other, I'm not sure if I asked you last time, if you talked with the community at all. Did you just update me on that? Yeah.
Since then, we've had 2 community meetings that were both well attended from, you know, both some of the local neighborhood groups that were there, also some of the local residents as well too. They voiced some concerns, in which I think we've appropriately taken care of, obviously, in order to get into this particular point though. But, you know, we continue to have community engagement sessions as well too. So if, you know, neighbors feel led, or if they have any other issues or concerns, they could definitely address it at that time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. With that, I have no other questions at this time, and I'll go to the commissioners with any concerns, questions you may have. Commissioner O'Toole.
I have none at this time. I'm anxious to hear from the public though. So right now I have nothing.
Commissioner Reed,
No questions.
Commissioner Green.
No real questions. I guess just one, for the meetings that you had, do you have signing sheets or did you have signing sheets?
Yes,
Would you be able to provide those to us?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner Merrick.
No major questions at this point in time. I appreciate that some of the considerations from our last meeting a few months ago were taken into account, that you actually did make some adjustments to that parking area and the lot frontage and whatnot. I do think that was a nice, improvement. So I appreciate that.
Commissioner Jordan.
No questions at this time.
Okay, we'll go to the public. No one to my left, no one to my right. Gentlemen and ladies, any concerns or questions? And state your name and address.
My name is James Cheatham. This is my wife Donna. I'm the owner of a Heads Up Men and Ladies Barber Salon. Our property is located in between lots 3 and 4. Barbershop between lots 3 and 4. Yeah. How would that affect my parking with my customers?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
How would that affect parking with my customers, the parking?
To my understanding, based off of the commercial neighborhood piece, we didn't really have any real understanding or effect of it. I know we had talked last week as well too about, really it was about the right of way in the back in terms of taking away that curb cut and not having a driveway through there, having cars kind of coming through the back of there to make sure there's any safety concerns at all.
Could you state your name and
Sorry,
address?
905 North 16th Street, but we are owners of 2286. My concern is 41 units are coming in. Call them affordable housing. What does that mean when we call it affordable housing?
So it's based off of the AMIs or the average median income of the county in itself. And what we've done is we've layered units in between 20%, I believe it's 40%, 60%, and 80% of AMI. It's like a mixed income approach. And generally what happens is when we take in applications, some of the units will be restricted to like a third of a person's income. So we generally take and the good thing is like this is all regulated by the federal government and so forth. So there's a compliance period of about 45 years. Like this won't be changed over to anything other than what we stated before.
I don't have a problem with affordable housing, but 41 units in that area with a community center. Is there special parking for the communities?
Yes, we have met all of, as stated, we met all of the parking requirements that are needed to be able to build out the project and actually added on additional parking. And then took into some of the concerns that we heard from the community prior to. And obviously tried to talk with you guys as much as we could in terms of what was going on over at the property.
However, when did you have the other meetings? How was noticed?
We generally flyered up, and I think when I was inside of your shop, you had a flyer up from the last meeting that we had at the Nativity School.
That we got, I think, late.
We try to put it out there within 2 weeks. And it was an additional meeting that we just added on as well too, because we had already kind of satisfied some of the initial stuff, but we figured that we'd do another meeting to, give folks another opportunity to stop.
Picture of what your property looked like. Are there going to be requirements for us to change the front of our building?
No, if anything, we've actually modified our buildings to ensure that obviously we're at the same elevation as yours. And there'll be no issues with drainage and.
So I'm wondering if we're going to be eyesore once you.
Well, we changed not changed, but we modified the rhythms of what it was prior to be able to match up with the properties that are nearby. So we're not just, kind of dropping a spaceship in the middle of it. But it is tough when a lot of the properties were built, in the early 1900s to try to get them to match up as much and then provide a modern look as well too, to try to boost the overall for the neighborhood from the lots that we're utilizing.
About 8 spaces and meeting the requirements. You said buildings.
I think in lot 1 and then in lot 3 or 4.
Across the street from the shop, there are at least 4 ADA parking spaces now.
Yeah.
If not more. It's just like the whole block. And what happens from like on a Saturday morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock, customers, I heard your presentation online after the first meeting. And it was said it's a neighborhood shop. It is, but customers come from everywhere. They come out of state, they come out of the city. It is very crowded Saturday morning. There is nowhere to park. There wasn't anywhere Saturday afternoon when I was trying to drop him off lunch to park. And part of that's because they're doing those new lines right now, I think.
Mhm.
But that's a concern because it's loaded with cars. And I just don't know where everybody's going to park. And if the community center doesn't have a place, it's just going to be a little chaotic. Will the community center also have events going on?
This is generally, it's a small space. It's probably about 700 to 800 square feet.
Okay.
So it's generally for, you know, if someone's having a birthday party or if they wanted to rent it. And what we thought was a benefit with the put, you know, as opposed to having the lots there blighted, to put 41 new potential residents or new customers, you know, directly to your business in itself, and just trying to uplift the overall area because we, you know, we feel as though it's been underserved for a number of years.
It's nice that there's going to be something there because the lots do get loaded with junk. So
The whole
that's
time,
going
we're
to
trying to
help.
clean them up as much as we can.
But I have one more question about the back alley.
No problem.
Is that going to be a street? Is it going to be an alley? And are there going to, I guess there's going to be curves where you're building
Mhm.
and you're going to be at Emerald on that corner where the White House is now, correct?
We're gonna be on all sides of
All
the
sides.
lots. Yeah,
So then there'll be new curbing and lighting hopefully in the back. Because
absolutely.
that's another problem. That back alley
Mhm.
is a place where they dump.
And I think we set up a
They
lighting
just
plan.
your Barbershop.
No, I know, it's very evident. Like you said, we've been trying to work to try to keep it clean, and the city's done a good job of putting some of the signage out there as well, too.
Yeah, it's nice now.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like I said, and obviously, like I said, parking on Saturday afternoons is a concern. I think, what time do you guys generally close up around? Yes, sir. Okay, what time you open around?
6:30.
Okay, so,
But some people are there at 5:30.
No, I-
Want to be
Oh,
first.
yeah.
no, I get it. I'm one of those guys. I'm working right now, but I think, you know, obviously Saturday is a concern. But we tried to look at also Sunday and the rest of the days as well, too. And the big thing was the parking that we needed to have, we had, and then we added on additional parking as well. In addition with on-street parking and so forth, that may not be as readily available on a Saturday afternoon. Try to do our best to provide as many spaces, and absolutely, we will have continued community engagement because you guys are our neighbor, so it's a lot of sense.
Building and all. of
Oh,
that.
yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
We can talk to you because we would like to work with you.
Oh,
To
absolutely.
make sure that we can do whatever we can do with our space.
Yeah.
As well, because the back, we want to do a couple of things.
Okay, yeah, that's no problem at all. And I think obviously, like I said, as we continue to kind of build this out, nothing's, you know, set in stone. So if you had any immediate concerns, I know last time, like I said, I stopped out of there from last week or so. We just talked a little bit about like the roofing system that was over there, how we plan on rectifying that. Also, some of the digging that was taking place on there so that we can ensure that, like I said, we have a project that's not going to be affected by, you know, shortcomings like.
So today, he's been there 36 years and 1 day.
Oh, wow, congratulations.
Good job. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have these changes. We just had some questions.
Concerns up front. No, and I appreciate you voicing.
I still have another question. What is only one side of our building? Is it necessary?
I think that
Because you said I have a 6-foot overhang on the roof.
it's a little small,
Now,
16
the city
inches, yeah,
did-
I think
guess
something like
with the
that.
City, but they just put gas meters on the outside of the house, but they put mine on the side of my building.
I don't,
So how?
Oh,
so
but you
how-
get access to it.
Left-hand side.
you get access to it from the back if that,
They're
See,
coming from the
like,
front,
And what I'm
so
thinking about, y'all can just leave maybe like a 6 or 7 foot space
crawl space or something. Excuse me.
between it, put like a gate up there or something, like a little, I think like you have on the right side.
Yeah,
I think you said it's been like.
yeah, it's actually gonna be all green space there, yeah.
Same thing is, I'm saying, why could you want to join my building? I mean, that's kind of, it's kind of tight.
so we have with PHFA and as Brian alluded to earlier, this is all. I'm sorry. This is part of federal funding, and because of the funding, we have to meet certain criteria for widths and unit sizes and things like that. So the width of the building is dictated more so by the funding source and those requirements, which are also part of accessibility requirements as well. So we're taking up that whole lot, that whole width of the lot. We actually come in and get special permission to do that. I know that part of the reason that we were out there to dig some holes and things, do some exploratory test pits there next to your foundation was to make sure that we weren't going to, when we build our buildings up against yours, we weren't going to undermine anything structurally with yours, because that's the last thing we want to see is you're starting to fall over on top of our law. Obviously, no one wants that. So that was part of it. We have hired
and engaged a local contractor, Harrisburg-based contracting firm to do all this, and they're fully aware of what's going on there. They have a lot of experience with marrying up those two types of buildings there. But to answer your question, it was really so that we could provide a certain amount of units for the entire development and use that space on those two vacant lots next to you guys as efficiently as possible. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is we're going to continue to work with you guys on that construction aspect of what we're trying to do over there. And we did see the gas meters that just went in. I mean, it's been last month, right? They've been in. I was gonna say it's less than that. Okay, right. So that's certainly something high on our priority list, is to figure out what we can do there and work with you as the neighbor to try to make sure that we're not gonna do anything that you're not happy with, moving forward with that design and that construction right next to it.
Steps from the second floor, as you face the building, the right-hand side, they have steps to come out if they have an emergency out that way. Yes. Will that stay? And is that where the green space is?
This will be modified based off of some traffic.
You're looking this way, we're on the left-hand side, right? And then there's that whole area next to it, it's gonna remain open. All right, so that's.
So, but you couldn't do the same thing on the opposite side?
No, we need that full width to meet what we need to meet with our funding source, looking for.
Would do.
The side, in the back of the garage. There's a door that goes out into the,
That's there.
Is back here somewhere.
when you're facing the building,
That's your-
on the left side.
Okay, so.
Yeah, so that's further back behind where
It's
we're at. It'll be back there somewhere. Yeah, because there's that little bump in.
That's
here.
like upside down there. Okay.
Yeah.
That could be crazy.
Flip it that way, and now you're looking on the left-hand side, the right-hand side, here, your door's back here, turn around.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
this is all that
So
stuff,
that's gonna-
that yellow stucco wall that's there now.
Yeah.
Right.
See, the way that you have that, you got that meter there. So how, I'm saying, how you gonna put that, put that, I guess, I'll put that part back.
We're trying to figure out how to get this contract, because of the meter, because the meter went in after we started, or just
Exactly.
so.
Well, why don't you talk to the UGI and ask them to fix
And we're gonna have to when we start our construction.
it? Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
no, we will.
If
No, I-
you've got it, be compliant in one place, you can't.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But you should probably talk to them now while they're still there.
I think we are. I think the
Yeah.
contract. Yeah. Yeah.
Just try to get past this
No,
part of it.
Everything, especially that gas meter. Yeah, because that was a concern. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
When did you go?
Oh, okay, that was a good discussion. Normally I cut people off, but today I think this is too interesting and the neighbors really had good input. So I thank them for that.
Thank you.
And I thank you guys for allowing input in the community. I always emphasize that many of the contractors come in and they say they're gonna do it and they never do it, or they just like one or two people. So thank you gentlemen for working with the community. With that, I have nothing else. I think it's a good project and working with everyone, I think this is going to be a great project for the community. Commissioners, anyone have any other concerns or additions to the project? Not, can I get a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second for approval of this project with the conditions. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Good
Thank
luck. Good luck. Good luck.
That's right.
Jeff, any other business?
I guess the only thing we really have is, and I had nothing formal planned, but just to thank Commissioner Green for her service on the board. I forget when exactly she started, but think it was kind of almost an emergency appointment to fill a vacancy. And here we are several years later, that she's been, I think doing a great job. It's been a great connection between the Planning Commission and City Council, having somebody who, hears all the testimony at both meetings, so that they can, bring to the City Council conversation stuff they might have heard at the Planning Commission meeting, for people maybe from the public or whomever who aren't able to make the City Council meeting. So I think she's been a really valuable resource in that regard. And I just wanted to, thank her from my perspective. And I know, Joe, you had said that you were very appreciative of her service as well.
Oh, and I'd add to that, as you said, Asha brought so many good things to us, and especially being that liaison from the City Council. I remember she first came on and she was like, a neophyte. You had to learn a lot of things. And a lot of people think you just come on Planning Commission. You just, there's a lot of things to learn, Commissioner Jordan. Getting used to the acronyms, special exceptions, the variances. It takes site plans, land development plans. And it takes, a few years to get your feet wet. And she became very good at it. And I hate losing her. I don't know if we have the authority. I asked the city solicitor if the Planning Commission can vote on not letting her go. Asha, do you want any parting words?
I've enjoyed my time here with you guys. I've learned so much about planning, about site plans, reading them, everything that goes into it. I still can't read a blueprint that well. I'm not gonna lie, but I know where doors are. I know where stairs are. I know where the bathrooms are. I've got some of those important components, but honestly, I've learned a lot from you guys. I started Planning Commission before I was on City Council. And so that gave me a lot of background knowledge on different things that are going on in the city that the public usually isn't aware of. So before I was on Planning Commission, I had no idea this existed. Like I had no idea in the world that there was a process for these things to happen. I thought that like just the mayor signed something, or I never understood how the process worked. Didn't even really know about the Planning Bureau because in the world where I come from, that wasn't something that was discussed, So I think it's very important. I think I kind of brought a role of someone who wasn't experienced. And I think that's important too, because having everyone that's professional and does this on a daily basis is a different perspective as well. They have the more technical questions. I have the more simplistic questions sometimes that kind of bring things down to a normal person's level that doesn't understand this stuff. So I appreciate everything that you guys have taught me because it's helped me in my role as City Council too, kind of knowing some questions to ask and understanding the importance of certain elements. So I appreciate you guys welcoming me with open arms and teaching me so many things. And I'll still show up sometimes. If not, I'll watch online, right? So, and thank you, Jeff. I appreciate all your work, all your late nights, your answers to my random emails about different things. Even when I give people your personal email, just reach out to him. He's great. He'll figure it out for you. I appreciate you working with me and being understanding and help me through the process as well. So thank you.
Other comments? Sorry, we don't have anything for you.
It's sort of like water.
You don't have that.
Yeah, here yesterday.
Yeah,
I think Jeff switched it. Because I purposely left the book last week. I think I lost the
Court today. Well, with that, I'm not going to ask who she is. I remember her from last time, I believe. But I do need to know if your name and.
Absolutely. I'm Emily Fair and I'm the Assistant City Solicitor.
Welcome board.
Nice.
Hope you're coming more to the meetings.
You are my assignment
Oh,
So,
good. Not,
Every time he gets the chance.
Yeah, she's like the handler, you know?
with that, is there anything else for the good of the order? Not, could I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second. Stand adjourned. Thank you.